This is the 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan SE R-Line Black, which I built last month for the Volkswagen Enthusiast Fleet, which is this amazing tour of vehicles that get modified at the beginning of each year and go off around the United States of America to, well, help support enthusiast shows. But if you want more in the background of that, go check out part 1 of this car's videos, because this is about everything that has gone into it, all of the products, the design, all of my effort, experiences, everything with it. So let's dive properly into what makes this Tiguan exactly what it is. So the biggest things that I've changed, well, the height, because there's a lot of things that come on the R-Line that are pretty amazing to start with. But yes, SolarWorks suspensions, which are now available to the public. This was a final beta set. They are today's video sponsors, as always, part of the suspensionsource.com and part of the KW group. But I'm going to take you out on a drive. We're going to show you how the suspension handles driving at this height out on Pottstown, Pennsylvania's High Street, which is kind of a bumpy, potholey, messy road. The suspension does have about 1.5 inches to 2 inches more low available, and it is specifically made for the Tiguan. In fact, the springs are made here in the USA. Otherwise, the next biggest visual impact is those wheels, the 20-inch rotiform OZRs with, let's get a little mathematical right now, 10.5 inches wide, with an offset from the factory of 40, but I have 15mm and 20mm Black Forest Industry spacers, which brings it to approximately ET20 and ET25. 25 up front, 20 on the rear. The other thing that visually makes the car look so wide is the side skirts. And the secret sauce here is they're not actually side skirts, they're side steps, and they are genuine Volkswagen accessories parts. So you can get these brand new from the dealership, you can get them installed on your brand new car. Heck, you can order them on your brand new car and have them built into your financing if you want. They do come in silver aluminum, America. They come in a silver aluminum finish, but if you want to paint them black, you just drill out the rivets on the end, pull off the plastic end caps, paint them, put them back together, simple rivet back in, and you're done. And I gotta say thanks to Brandon at that 180 Cabbie for helping me paint these when I was running a little bit late. Otherwise, on the side, everything else is R-Line. The black lower painted pieces, that's all R-Line. The badging, everything else is, including the new Volkswagen badge on the B-pillar, which you're gonna see on the Taos and a bunch of other models for the 2021, 2021 and a half onwards models. Things that are not standard. The window tint's a little bit darker. Yeah, we have a shout out to all of the companies that help make this possible, but everything else is completely standard. So let's move on to the front and keep that train of thought going. Up front, it is basically all factory R-Line. So indeed, the great big pieces there, the fog lights, the aggressive look, everything is factory USA 2021 R-Line SE Black. The only thing that isn't really up front is the aftermarket front lip. It fits really nicely. You do have to drill some holes into the under trays, but not into the bumper itself. It is kind of flimsy, so I'm not sure that it's going to hold up to a lot of abuse, but the fit's great, the right price point, everything else. I did add matte black graphics on both sides of the hood, and that continues down the natural body line on the rest of the car. And another black item is the roof rails. That is factory R-Line Black. So if you order it, buy one at the dealership, it comes with that. That is not being modified myself. I have painted roof rails on previous cars, but on this one, boom, factory done. One of the other things up front is the smoke side markers, a cheap modification that has been around for as long as side markers have been, pretty much. I think they were $30 for a pair. They drop right in. Yeah, super subtle. What more is there to say about smoked side marker lights? Except if you have a Mark IV R32, it should be amber side lights. Sorry, factory is better sometimes, but on this one, I did want to go darker with the smoked. The side trims are always textured on the Tiguans. That's why I went with the textured front lip. And just to make myself mentally happy and complete, The side steps are textured at the front as well, so I felt like that lent itself on there. Now, what I have not done, and when we switch to this side of the car, is center the rotiform caps. There you go. Please also do that if you're taking photos. Again, it's just symmetry. Your brain will enjoy it. Let's go to the back of the car and talk about things back there. Mainly, it has 3 spoilers on the trunk. 3 rear wings, people. Super fast and furious. Real fast while Sean's taking B-roll of the car, if you do center your center caps for photos and things, which you should do, it makes it look really, really cool. Don't forget to tighten them afterwards. You're gonna lose them otherwise. So yes, it does have 3 spoilers. Let me explain just how that happens. Well, all Tiguans have the first part of the spoiler. They just do. It's like a GTI just has something coming over the back. Then the R-Line has the extra big spoiler, which is also available from Volkswagen Accessories separately. So if you have a non-R-Line, you can buy this one. If you have a white or a black R-Line, you can buy this factory pre-painted and simply have it professionally mounted, or heck, do it yourself if you think that you are capable, or you could spec it on your new car when you're buying it. But the second larger one is factory on all R-Lines. Then there's a third one, another aftermarket lip up top, just this one here. It does come in black, so it's not the pearl black, but it is a gloss black, and that looks great. What do I not like about it? Well, it's not painted gloss black on the edge or underneath. It's matte black, which does kind of mimic the underside of this, but it just doesn't quite flow having that edge, in my opinion. But it's so good that I rocked it, and this is the exact one that you can order yourself if you wanted. So everything on this car pretty much is available off the shelf to be bought if you want, either at the Volkswagen dealership or in the aftermarket. Shout out again to the suspensionsource.com, where you can get the SolarWorks suspension, #sponsored. One thing that you cannot buy is the exhaust. It does use all factory aftermarket Borla components, stainless steel in the rear, and we'll talk about this more when we're on the road, but the black tips are part of a different car system from Borla, so you can't even order those. But I knew that I wanted to use their road black tips with the quad exit total system. The cool thing about the back bumper is this is all factory R-Line. I didn't have to modify this bumper at all to fit in the quad system. It does have, what's the correct corporate term? Faux exhaust look. Yeah, it has chrome fake tips, but you can just simply remove those. There's nothing destructive, and then this can just get installed in its place. So it's really, really nice and a simple modification. However, there is no Borla back box system that will do that. So you're gonna have to build your own. Some people take Golf R versions and expand the tips. It is quite a lot wider than the Golf R, but for me, I use Borla's transverse universal muffler, and then we use a variety of 90-degree turns, bends, and this beautiful black quad tip that, well, you can't buy. But yeah, otherwise everything else in the car you can absolutely buy, including the bicycle. Don't skip. Just bear with me. I know this is like brand lifestyle or stuff, but I love bicycles. I love riding bikes, and this bike kind of kicks ass. Marin Bicycles from California, their marketing person is a big Volkswagen enthusiast, was rocking a Eurovan when I met him. Has since gone up to a Sprinter, but let's not hold that against him. This is the full carbon fiber Marin Alpine Trail 2. It's about $5,000. It is very lightweight, has the great big Fox suspension, 29er with the Maxxis tires. Marin love doing their dropper posts, so once you push down the release, you can drop the saddle. There it is, and then when you're back on its faster section, flip the switch, saddle comes back up, locks in place, done. Anyway, I know you're not tuned in for bicycles, but thank you for not skipping that, because I enjoy bikes and Marin are a super cool company. Back to car things. 1.25" receiver that I did have to add. It was not factory spec'd on this car. I think it's a $300-400 genuine accessory. It has a tow rating of 1,500 pounds. So you're not pulling your race car behind you, but for bikes, accessories, things like that, fine. If you want to have a little trailer back here, fine. If you factory spec it on the car, it comes with the wiring built in. If you don't, it doesn't, so you will need to add that. I did not add the wiring because I knew it was just for rocking this. This is the Thule XT1 bike tray, clamps on the front. It does have a lock built in, which is kind of nice as well. But otherwise, it does exactly what you'd expect. This folds up, you can just release it there, extend it, locks in automatically, clamps on just like every other bike tray in the world on the back, and that is it. This is available from Volkswagen Accessories in the 2 bicycle version. So instead of 1 tray, it has 2 going out. I went a little rogue. I got it direct from Thule for the single bike version just because I think it looks more sporty and kind of dope, following the matte black and gloss black and gray theme that both the bicycle and the Tiguan 2021 Volkswagen R-Line SE Black, and those words were all over the place there because this is one of the longest car title names that I can think of in the current Volkswagen fleet. Inside there's a bunch of other party tricks. Let's take a real quick look at that right now. So inside the trunk, well, the OEM plus goodies continue, plus more cycling stuff. This is a cargo divider. It's not a dog divider. It's definitely not a children divider, but growing up in Europe, so many cars had these. We called them dog dividers, whatever. Legally, it's a cargo divider. It is OEM. It just drops in, tightens up, super easy to remove, super easy to drop in if you want it. I absolutely love them, and I think America's kind of catching on. But it is a genuine Volkswagen accessory. What is not normal or genuine about it though, however, is this one has an extra hole cut in it because this is the factory mount for your coach or your rear view mirror. Or you know when you have kids and you have them in the back seat and you want to be able to see them, so you have like that wide angle mirrory thing. That's what goes on these. You can choose what you want on it. It can be an iPad, a tablet holder for the rear seats, but what I've done is moved it to the very rear and built in this helmet holder so that that stays there while you are done riding, working on your bike. To assist with that, up top we have a LED light bar that lights up the whole back here, and there's a compressor hidden. So you hit this button and it will start the compressor. You can blow up your bicycle tires or indeed a car if it's stranded. Also genuine Volkswagen accessories, the cargo protection system, which velcros onto the original one, keeps it safe, also stops things sliding out. But on top of that, you have the cargo blocks, which has the roadside assistance kit, which has the warning triangle, has the jumper leads, everything else there, and then the first aid kit, which on itself is Velcro. So you can stick on the side if you want, but I have them with the cargo blocks there. This one is not, so you just simply set up your cargo blocks. You know how many people buy Volkswagens and these come in the trunk and they have no idea what they are for? And even worse, they come in a plastic bag not set up into L's, so it makes no sense. This is what they are for. They stop your, well, don't drink and drive. Your 12 pack or whatever you're drinking, you can stop it sliding around by just Velcroing those down. And indeed, yes, your genuine Volkswagen roadside assistance kit. Otherwise, in the back, everything else is factory, including the fold forward seats. So if you want to flip your seats, you simply pull this and it will fold that one down, which is super nice for loading your bike in the back if that's what you're going to do. These buttons are not factory. That's the light, that's the compressor. I just use this little panel there so you can replace it if you ever want to put it back to stock. One disclaimer though, you cannot open and close the trunk when you have the size large Marin bicycle. So if you want to do that, there is a trick. Just fold the bike a little bit out the way, close your trunk, and then put it back up like that. So if you try this at home, kids, don't slam your nice Tiguan R-Line trunk on your nice bicycle. Welcome to the inside of the Tiguan. We do have the Black Forest Industries shift knob, and up ahead we have Sean Maynard driving his very nice Golf All-Track, which was actually part of the Volkswagen Enthusiast Fleet a couple of years ago. Now it's his personal car. So we're driving on Pottstown High Street which has been a big cruising location for decades. Absolutely huge. Today though, it is just kind of a mix of roadworks and potholes and everything after winter. Yeah, everything feels great. The tires are not super low profile, so I think that helps as well, but the suspension feels basically factory even at this ride height. Being the SE R-Line, it does have R-Line badging here, fancy stitching, blah blah blah. It does not have cold seats, it does not have a heated steering wheel. It does have multi-zone air conditioning, so people on the back have their own outlet, and left to right has the dual zone, so the left side of the car can be a different temperature from the right side. Otherwise, it's all factory in here, black headliner, everything else. Slam on the brakes as we stop, and I get a beep for please refuel. 45 miles to go, so not today, Tiguan, not today. The Borla exhaust that I made is remarkably quiet. Sound-wise, it's just a little bit louder than stock, and that's something that Borla puts a lot of effort into their systems, is the sound, whereas I didn't. I just built it using their components, stainless steel, it has the fancy exhaust tips in the back, etc. But it wasn't really built for sound. I just used components that fitted to get the right look. But I do think it was pretty successful in terms of overall, well, it doesn't sound bad, it looks great, so I'm happy with that. The Ford 6-piston brakes do feel great, and you can absolutely jar the car. They do squeak a little bit. I think that I have not bedded them in properly. This car now has 200 miles on it, so not a heck of a lot. And I've tried to bed them in using my normal process, but it just simply hasn't been driven. So on very light brake pedal actuation, they will squeal sometimes, but they do stop the car absolutely fantastically. Finally, getting out the traffic. I'm going to go over a railway crossing right now, so watch the suspension. No muss, no fuss. And on our test route, we do have one more surprise, which is the speed bump. So yeah, no problem on the speed bumps, no problem on the railroad crossings. Suspension feels absolutely great. If anything, I would say how to quantify it. 10% stiffer than factory at this speed. So I think a normal person driving it would think that it really is just a comfortable, sporty suspension, which is kind of exactly what it says on the box. We've got one more railroad crossing, which is the final undulation here. And then we can speed up a little bit. Ready? So in sport mode, shifting around 6,000 RPM. And the car tells me there's a car in front. So it's saying, hey, you're coming up really fast to a slower moving car. You should probably take a look at what's happening. All right, what we're gonna do is just turn around while Sean parks, and I'm going to test the brakes. This is the thing that I hate most about the IQ driving. I have the bike on the back, so you might be able to see it on the screen. When I back up, it says, oh, there's something behind you, and it jams on the brakes. So you need to remember, oh, you have something behind you, and press the button, otherwise it jams your brakes on. I want to say if you had a trailer on, maybe it detects that. So like maybe we could put a plug-in that says, hey, there's something behind you and I know it. So, right, let's do a 60 down to 0. Oop. All right, 60. Hi, Sean. So yeah, the brakes were great. That was like half pedal because, as you heard, things went flying, and I remember the drone setup is in the back there. So I'm not going to do that again any harder. All right, there you go, Forge Motorsport USA. There's a not full mashing brake test, but very successful. Oh my gosh. So before we end this, I do already know some of the questions are going to come up in the comments below, so I'm just going to answer them, not a car review, whatever. Engine, 2-liter turbo, shared with other cars in the lineup because, well, it's the MQB chassis, the MQB platform. What that means is the underpinnings are based on the incredible Volkswagen MQB, which shares it with the GTI, shares it with the Arteon, etc. That means those beautiful Forge 6-piston front calipers and big rotors would also work on a Golf GTI, etc. And I really do love the platform. It really works well. The chassis as well. This is the big one. In Europe, there is a shorter wheelbase or a smaller version called the Tiguan, and then the bigger one is called the Tiguan Allspace. All USA Tiguans are the big ones. Get the pun? Anyway, they are all spaces, but we don't call it the all space because it doesn't need it. And this car's title is long enough already. The 2021 Volkswagen Tiguan SE R-Line Black is a lot to say without adding all space. This car is built for the Enthusiast Fleet, and I've got to say thank you to Volkswagen for allowing me to put my mark on it, to have a vision and to follow through with that. But more importantly, thank you to them for supporting the enthusiasts. This car will be on display at the Alpine Volksfair, AVF, in Helen, Georgia in May. So if you want to see it, come out to the show, bring your Volkswagens, bring your friends, let them see what the community, what the Volkswagen aesthetic, etc. is about. If I can in any way help have answered some ideas of what you want to do to your own Tiguan or what's out there or what I've done to this one, that would be incredible. I do hope so. Please go forth and have fun with your cars. Things that I have not modified: the engine, emissions controls, etc. The back box I did change. Everything else is factory. And that's one thing that I see a lot in the comments is, oh, the Tiguan's relatively slow, or I wish it had more power. I don't think it does, genuinely. This thing gets out its way really darn well. It'll break every speed limit in the country. You saw a teeny little bit of half throttle out on the drive, but it is the 2-liter turbo. So if you want to choose to do things to it, it's MQB, baby. You can do whatever you want, basically. So can you swap a VR6 in? Sure, because it's MQB. It'll just bolt right in. I'm not saying going and do that, or at least wait. Yeah, probably we'll see that happen at some point, but probably not me on this one. I'm getting off topic. However, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much for checking out what I think is a really, really cool car with the Black Edition. All of those cool touches that I just wanted to try and build upon. I hope this has helped. For now though, let me know what you think in the comments. YouTubey things. Hit the subscribe button, and remember, wash your hands, wash your cars, and take care. Goodbye.